don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
Welcome to the No One Asked for This podcast, the podcast that no one asked for. My name is Guy,
I am Babs.
and we have Frazier on the line today.
Hello, everyone.
And we will be talking about the National League wildcard game between the Brewers and the Nationals that happened on October 1st. The Brewers hit a 2-run home run in the first inning and another in the second and led most of the game by 2 runs until the Nationals scored 3 runs on a fielding error in the bottom of the 8th to win the game.
Yay!
To start off the podcast, let's talk about our most memorable moment from the game. I have a feeling we'll all have a similar memorable moment, but Frazier, what's yours?
My most memorable moment was when the outfielder, I believe his name is Grisham, overran a routine ground ball to right field. And at that moment, I knew that Rendon was going to score from first base, and I anticipated that Soto would end up on third base.
We should say we were in the stands for the game, and I have no idea what happened to Soto until I saw the replay. In that moment, I was jumping up and down and high-fiving everyone within 20 feet of me, so I have no idea what happened to Soto.
It was clear that the runs were going to be scored. People were cheering and weren't even concerned about.
Yeah, the building was shaking. It was crazy. And
Yeah.
what was wild is I yelled on contact, tie game, we're going to extras, and then the error happened.
Yeah, I mean, having played the outfield, and from the way the pitch came and the ball was struck, the ball was spinning away from the guy, but he didn't take a good angle, so it bounced away from him, and he was stretching his arm, his left or his right arm, out away from his body instead of like running in front of it. So yeah, he had no shot once it took the bad bounce.
Oh, he did a Babs move.
Yeah.
Good for the Nats.
And for the podcast record, that is all of our most memorable moments.
Yes.
Now, the Nats have a sordid history in the playoffs. This was the first elimination game that they had ever won. And so we have a special award that we give out. And it doesn't have to be a Nats player, but it is the Drew Storen Memorial Award for least valuable performance or least clutch performance in a playoff game. Barbara, who do you have?
It doesn't have to be a Nats player because I'm having a hard time coming up with a person for this. And I'd hate to say the guy that made the error that led to our win because that's a tough look.
He did have a decent game at bat, but I mean, other than that error, he didn't do anything memorable. He was he got walked on a questionable pitch in the top of the first, and then he was the run that got driven in by the home run. Frazier, who do you have?
When I was under the impression I had to give it to a Nationals player, I found it hard to come up with one, but just based off of their performance at the plate, I gave it to. It was basically a tie between Asdrubal Cabrera and Adam Eaton because neither one of them got a hit or were on base in the game. Asdrubal Cabrera had great contact his first at bat, like should have gone out if he had hit it anywhere except for deep center field. And then I think he grounded out the next 2 at bats. And Eaton, basically same thing. He struck out, grounded out, and lined out, and then was subbed out for my most valuable player, which is Michael A. Taylor, who took the hit by pitch, the questionable call, to get the rally going.
Honestly, when I wrote this outline, I had Soto in the middle of the game as my Drew Storen Award winner because I don't think he had particularly good at bats before the one in the 8th inning.
Oh, 100%. He went from 0 to hero with one swing of the bat. That's what makes baseball such a great game.
I'm with it. Now we're going to move on to our special shout-outs. Barbara, who's your special shout-out of this game?
This is my personal experience I'm going to give a special shout out to the giant, enormous rib that I ate in the middle of the game. It was the size of somebody's leg. That has nothing to do with the game itself, but for me, that's That's
Funny you should say that because my special shout out is to Drunk Randy. Not having the commentary to the game is always an issue with going to the live sporting event, but Drunk Randy's running commentary of that entire game was probably the funniest thing and saved us from being sad for those middle innings. Who you got, Frazier?
My special shout out is going to go to my coworker Isaac Sarvis, who tweeted me after the end of the first inning and said that we should have started Strasburg after Scherzer gave up the walk and the home run in the first inning. I replied to him, I was like, "You're an eternal optimist, and I love it."
I told everyone after the home run to calm down, 2 runs. We weren't going to win the game 1-0. So we had to put up 3 runs if we wanted to win anyway. And I felt like if you've watched some previous playoff games, especially some of those games against the Dodgers, when it was low scoring and or we had a 1-run lead in the middle innings, I don't think there was any urgency to our at-bats. We were looking to hold the lead as opposed to like get out there and put people on and drive them in and score runs. And by having a deficit to start the game, it put urgency into everyone's at-bats. And I feel like that's a good thing because you're not going to win any postseason if you're always batting with the lead. Every team that's won a World Series in the history of World Series since the wild card era has had to go into a game or late innings losing and come up with some big hits.
Urgency is fine, but I want them to show more discipline. I don't think before the 8th inning we didn't have one single Nat get walked.
What's your gut reaction to the performance by the Nats?
Ah! That's an excited roar.
It sounded like pain.
Let's do another take. I'll get more excited. Ah!
That sounded like fear.
God. I am not an actress.
So yeah, my gut reaction is I'm happy to win this game. I don't by any means think that we deserve to win the game. It basically came down to Strasburg being the best middle reliever in baseball.
Yeah.
And a clutch hit by Soto.
My gut reaction is I'm happy that they were able to pull out the win. Some say it's a controversial win. A win is a win. Ever since T-ball, a win is a win. So
Yep.
I'm happy that they got the win. But I'm not very encouraged by what I saw hitting-wise because in my history of being a Nats fan, which is since 2005 when they came to D.C., when they've made it to the playoffs, hitting has been the problem. So they were able to get 4 runs, which is pretty much, in my opinion, the minimum for the playoffs. Like if you can get 4 runs, you should be in the mix, if not set up to win the game. But
yeah, FP's tweet of score 4 and forget about 7 years ago, I thought that was clever. So what do you think their chances are against the Dodgers?
Oh man, my heart wants to say 50-50, but just given how they've played against Kershaw in the past, I'd say it's a little less than 50-50. I think this is the best team that the Nationals have gone to the playoffs with all around, especially on the hitting side, which has been their biggest issue. So,
and Babs, as our resident casual fan, how confident are you that the Nationals will beat the Dodgers?
Having very little knowledge of most teams in baseball besides the one I watch, which is the Nats, I don't feel good about it. It's a DC sports team, so yeah, I would probably not put a bet down on the Nationals winning versus the Dodgers.
Okay, well, that'll wrap things up for us. We were talking about the Nationals versus the Brewers in the National League wild card game in Major League Baseball. The Nats will go on to face the Dodgers.
N-A-T-S, Nats.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to repay the Dodgers for that Game 5 loss we suffered when we had home field in the NLDS a couple years ago. Frazier, thank you for joining us. As always, I'm Guy. for Babs, and no one asked for this.